You know, we all hear that flying is one of the safest ways to travel, but have you ever stopped to think about why? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of those invisible rules. We're diving deep into a single official document to see exactly how these problems get found and fixed, keeping all of us safe in the sky. So, let's start with the question that gets right to the heart of this. Picture this. You're all buckled in, ready for takeoff. But what if the chair itself isn't locked down? It's a pretty unsettling thought, and it's the exact scenario this whole document is designed to prevent. So, our story begins not with some huge emergency, but with something a lot quieter, and frankly, a lot weirder. A series of strange reports started coming in from several private jets. Yeah, you heard that right. The official reports mentioned occurrences of affected seats sliding without passenger input. I mean, can you imagine? You're just sitting there and your seat starts moving on its own? This wasn't just some annoying inconvenience. It pointed to a potential mechanical failure, and that immediately kicked off a formal investigation. Okay, so when a potential safety issue like this gets confirmed, a really powerful process gets set in motion. It's led by big organizations like the European Union Aviation Safety Agency. You'll know them as EASA. What EASA does is issue something called an Airworthiness Directive, or an AD for short. And let's be really clear here. This is not a friendly suggestion. It is a mandatory, legally binding order to fix an unsafe condition. The rules are simple. You can't fly the plane unless you comply. Probably the easiest way to think about it is like a mandatory recall for your car, but with much higher stakes and even stricter enforcement. The operators of these planes have to perform the fix, document everything, and prove they did it just to keep their aircraft legally in the air. And this is it. This is the document at the heart of our story. Airworthiness Directive 2025-020, which came out on September 17, 2025. This is the official legal solution to that whole slippery seat problem. So, who does this actually apply to? This is where you get to see just how incredibly precise these safety orders are. They're all about targeting the exact problem without grounding entire fleets of planes for no reason. So first, the directive lists the general aircraft models. In this case, it's a number of high-performance business jets from the Dassault Falcon family. These are some seriously impressive long-range planes. But here's the really crucial part. It doesn't apply to every single Falcon jet out there. Nope. It only targets the planes that have a very specific affected seat installed. It all comes down to the individual parts inside the plane. And this is where the investigation gets incredibly granular. I mean, what you're seeing here, this is just a tiny, tiny sample. The full document has tables with hundreds of unique part numbers and serial numbers. Maintenance crews on the ground have to physically go and check their aircraft against this massive list to see if they have one of the faulty parts. All right, so they've zeroed in on the problem with surgical precision. What's the actual fix? Well, the directive is crystal clear about the steps operators absolutely must take. There's no wiggle room. It lays out a mandatory process. First, you got to figure out if you even have these faulty seats. If the answer is yes, you have two choices. Either modify them using the manufacturer's official instructions, or you can just replace the whole thing with a brand new, fully working seat. And that's it. Those are your only options. And this isn't some open-ended request either. There is a firm deadline. The fix has to be done within 13 months of the directive's effective date. That ensures the problem gets solved across the entire fleet in a really timely way. And this part is so important. It closes the loop. The directive makes it illegal to install any of these unmodified, faulty seats in the future. It basically purges these bad parts from the global supply chain for good, so this problem can't pop up again. Now, I know this might seem like a whole lot of paperwork and process for a sliding chair, but the reason behind it all is absolutely critical. And you don't have to guess. The document tells you exactly why this is such a big deal. This is a direct quote from the reasons section of the directive itself. The big risk is that a seat could fail to stay put during critical phases of flight, which could injure passengers. We're talking about takeoff, landing, or hitting bad turbulence. The exact moments you absolutely need your seat to be rock solid. And really, this whole process, from a weird report about a sliding seat all the way to a legally required fix, it just goes to show you that aviation safety isn't about waiting for a disaster to happen. It's a system that is constantly, proactively hunting down risks, no matter how small they might seem, and stamping them out. Ultimately, a document like this is just a powerful reminder of this huge, unseen network that's working to keep you safe every single time you fly. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other invisible fixes and meticulous rules are up there protecting you without you ever even knowing they exist?